Hello, knowledge seekers. In this episode of 20-Minute Books, we delve into the art of effective communication with Brief, authored by Joseph McCormack. McCormack, a notable expert in corporate storytelling, crafts a comprehensive guide on achieving maximum impact through concise communication. His expertise and advice have been sought after by military leaders and top executives of esteemed organizations such as MasterCard, SAP, and Harley-Davidson. Brief 2014 is not only about the power of succinct dialogue, but also explores the barriers that prevent us from being concise. It lays out a roadmap on how to refine and enhance your communicative prowess while saving time and preserving the attention of your audience. As we explore this book's highlights, we'll learn the essence of brevity in our information-dense age and how effective brevity can help us stand out and make a lasting impression. This episode is highly recommended for anyone keen on polishing their communication skills, individuals striving to capture and maintain others' attention, and business leaders wishing to distinguish their ideas in crowded corporate landscapes. So, grab a cup of your favorite brew, settle in, and prepare for a brief but insightful journey into the world of effective, concise communication with Brief. Enjoy the ride. Brief. Make a bigger impact by saying less. Introduction. Discover the art of brevity in communication. Why do we find it challenging to be precise and concise when expressing our thoughts? Be it a lengthy email or a never-ending meeting, we often find ourselves lost in the labyrinth of excessive information. Various factors contribute to our struggle with succinctness in our interactions. This narrative deciphers each of these factors and equips you with strategies to overcome them. Once you acquire the knack for brief communication, you'll be recognized for your business acumen and clarity of thought. People will value your words and eagerly look forward to your insights. During this engaging journey, you will uncover the number of distractions an average worker grapples with daily, gain insights into how Steve Jobs brilliantly harnessed the power of succinct storytelling, and understand why brevity is an indispensable component of engaging small talk. Part 1. Secure your place in this noisy world with the power of brevity. We are constantly bombarded with a deluge of information, as countless voices clamor for our precious attention. In this rapid, information-driven world, time is of the essence. Those unable to attract attention and communicate their message swiftly often find themselves overlooked. Why is grabbing someone's attention such a Herculean task? Simply because our brains lack the capacity to process the magnitude of information we encounter. We are pelted with a torrent of data so vast it's a formidable challenge to decipher it all. Software developer Atlassian, for instance, reports that the average professional is on the receiving end of 304 emails per week. Furthermore, the annual Internet Trends report by venture capital firm Kleiner, Perkins, Caulfield and Byers disclosed that we check our phones 150 times daily. The upshot? The typical worker faces an interruption every 8 minutes, courtesy of their phone alone. In the face of these modern disruptions, we find it difficult to absorb the rest of the data thrown at us. Consequently, research indicates that the average attention span has plummeted from 12 seconds to a meager 8 in just the past 5 years. As such, the desire for rapid information is the new norm. To stand out amidst this onslaught of data, you need to seize and sustain your audience's attention by making your point quickly and effectively. How does one achieve this? By employing impactful headlines to hook your audience. Rather than tediously building up information in a presentation, reveal your key findings right off the bat. Why are headlines effective? Because business professionals appreciate direct communication and swiftly lose patience with indirect or roundabout explanations. Picture, for example, 300 executives at a nonprofit fundraiser on a Wednesday night. The keynote speaker exceeds his allocated time by 30 minutes, and by the end of his speech, the room is half empty. The failure to deliver concise communication can cost more than just audience numbers or financial support. It could compromise respect and damage your reputation. Yet, if brevity is so prized, why do we find it so arduous to cut to the chase? Part 2. Overcome the subconscious barriers to succinctness. How often have we heard someone promise, "I'll only take a minute of your time," only to find ourselves listening to them for an exhausting half hour? Why do we fail so spectacularly in adhering to our self-declared time limits? It's not merely the joy of listening to our own voices that makes brevity an uphill task. The underlying issues often lie with aspects such as confidence and comfort levels. For instance, someone confident in their knowledge of a subject can get carried away with technical details and over-elaborate explanations. But what good is such expertise if it doesn't translate into clear and comprehensible communication? This verbosity is further amplified when people feel comfortable, often causing us to overindulge in the familiar company or situations. Consider the scenario where a quick coffee break chat with a colleague morphs into a full-blown discourse about their weekend plans. Instances like these not only encroach upon your productivity, but also make you wary of expressing interest. Indeed, a sense of ease can cause us to ramble on. But let's delve into how confusion and complexity can be equally detrimental to brevity. At times, when people don't take the time to organize their thoughts before articulating them, they end up articulating their mental process aloud. In such a scenario, no matter how swiftly your mind works, your audience is left grappling with blurred and indecipherable messages. This scenario often rears its head during brainstorming sessions, where great ideas risk being lost in the chaos due to the lack of clear communication. But what about those ideas that are inherently complex? Take, for example, instances where people believe certain concepts are so intricate that simplification is unachievable. Let's say a client inquires why their delivery can't be expedited. You delve into the nitty-gritty logistics of the shipping schedule, and by the time you finish, the client has lost all interest in your business. Over-explaining can cost you more than just your client's patience. It might also cost you their trust. The solution? Succinctness. So, gear up to refine your communication with the following 4 techniques. Part 3. Streamline your thoughts with brief mind maps for effective communication. It can be exasperating to sit through a conversation with someone who drowns you in over-explanations, underprepared arguments, and unnecessarily complex information. How can you make sure you never put another individual in this situation? The answer lies in preparation. Come armed with an outline, and you'll see a marked improvement in the clarity, organization, and detail of your presentations. Creating an outline for presentations is a breeze when you use brief mind maps. These are visual guides that help you arrange information around a central idea. Here's a breakdown of how they function. BRIEF is an acronym for background, reasons, or relevance, information for inclusion, ending, and expecting follow-up questions. Brief mind maps are diagrams designed to help you articulate your thoughts succinctly. The secret to crafting one effectively is to take your time. Start with a succinct box that carries a strong headline encapsulating your main idea. If, for example, you're giving a progress update on a project to a group, your headline could simply state, "The project is on time." Next, recap the last discussion you had with the individual or group you're addressing. In this case, it could be, "During our discussion last week, we agreed that the anticipated costs would be $30,000 and the project would be completed in 30 days. Once everyone is on the same page, share why you're meeting now and why this information matters. Maybe the plans changed and you need to invest more resources to stay on track. Present the crux of your presentation next. For instance, if we invest an additional $5,000, we can wrap up the project 4 days ahead of schedule. At the end, summarize what you've shared and lay out the next steps on the timeline. Investing more will allow us to complete the project ahead of schedule. Before you walk into the presentation, think about possible audience questions and try to address them in your presentation. Questions could range from, should we expect any additional expenses, to, are there any unforeseen risks? So the next time you're presenting information, remember Nike's motto, just do it. Speak your thoughts promptly, lucidly, and get it over with. Part 4. Unlock your idea's potential with the magic of visuals. Recall the age-old adage, a picture is worth 1,000 words. When the context is brevity, this statement holds more weight than ever before. Vivid and memorable visuals appeal to a wide audience, serving as a powerful tool to embed your message in people's memories. With the rise of our tech-savvy world, replete with screens and interactive media, the text-reliant world of yesteryears has taken a back seat. Research substantiates this shift. 65% of people are visual learners, and individuals generally remember approximately 80% of what they see. To provide a comparison, people only retain around 30% of what they read and a mere 10% of what they hear. So, how can you harness the power of visuals to convey your thoughts? Infographics, videos, graphs, charts, illustrations, and animations can express your message 6 times more effectively than words alone. Consider the innovation brought forth by Al Newharth, the founder of USA Today. He revolutionized journalism by aligning with the evolved reading habits of the public. By incorporating shorter stories interspersed with impactful visuals, he adapted his medium for our fast-paced world, where time is a luxury that most can't spare for lengthy articles. Part 5. Replace jargon-filled talks with engaging narratives. Having gained insight into how to arrange information effectively and present it succinctly, you might feel eager to put these strategies into action. But before you hit the stage, it's essential to arm yourself with another vital tool: storytelling. The compelling power of a well-structured narrative establishes a direct line to your audience, fostering immediate clarity and a personal connection. Crafting an engaging story is a breeze with a narrative map designed to keep your tale concise. Narrative maps, like mind maps, are structured around a core idea, in this case, a story. From this central point, you expand to incorporate a setup or challenge, an opportunity, an approach, and a payoff. The process mirrors the brief map. Begin by jotting down the central point, then flesh out each aspect in a clockwise manner from the 12 o'clock position. A classic example of narrative mapping is Steve Jobs' unveiling of the first-generation iPhone. Jobs' well-structured and carefully planned story pointed out the deficiencies of existing smartphones. Not smart enough, not user-friendly enough, and highlighted the remarkable impact the iPhone would bring to its industry. In Jobs' narrative map, the challenge was smartphones that didn't live up to their smart tag. The opportunity born from this challenge was the potential to create a phone that was smarter and more user-friendly than any other on the market. The approach involved designing a device that facilitated making calls, browsing the web, and playing music with ease. The payoff? The solution that Apple arrived at, the game-changing product, the iPhone. Jobs' gripping narrative provided a fantastic launchpad for the iPhones to enter the market. However, storytelling isn't devoid of potential pitfalls. One common mistake is turning business stories into fairy tales. To sidestep this error while drawing up your narrative, steer clear of fables, myths, satire, and other obscure forms. Instead, take a leaf out of Jobs' book and stick to a straightforward narrative that delves into the who, what, why, when, where, how, and therefore what. Part 6. Embrace active listening to transform monologues into meaningful dialogues. Contrary to common belief, brevity doesn't dampen conversations. Rather, it enriches them. To deliver your ideas succinctly is to engage in impactful, well-directed discussions. To make this possible, you need discipline and a keen focus on what genuinely matters to the person you're conversing with. How can you discern what's important to others? By practicing active listening and posing thoughtful, deliberate questions. The TALK method comes to the rescue here. TALK, an acronym for talk, active listening, and converse, is a strategy that ensures your conversations stay on track by aligning your thoughts with those of your conversation partner, thus paving the way for a discussion to unfold in intriguing directions. So, how does it work? Start by allowing the other person to express themselves, but be ready to respond with a concise point once they're done talking. As they speak, make sure to listen attentively, showing genuine interest. One way to do this is by avoiding multitasking and tuning into key words, names, dates, and other details that can inform your response. Active listening is crucial to comprehend your partner's mindset and values. As you apply this technique, remain focused on sustaining the ongoing conversation. Rather than introducing a new topic, consider proffering a remark or question that bridges from the topic your partner has brought up. Keep your responses crisp and mindful of when to stop speaking. Conversing with brevity boils down to understanding what your conversation partner is interested in and responding appropriately. Therefore, being a good conversationalist involves active listening, with the goal to respond sincerely, not merely waiting for your turn to speak. View conversations as a game of tennis, where you react to your partner's moves, instead of a game of golf, where you're merely waiting for your turn. Part 7. Brevity is a mark of respect. Cherish people's time by practicing it. Brevity isn't just an office tool, it's a critical facet of etiquette and good manners. In essence, it's about respect. By being conscious of people's precious time and practicing brevity in meetings, presentations, and even on social media, you showcase a level of consideration that's bound to be appreciated. Take meetings, for instance, notorious for being time-consuming. Consider this. The average CEO spends about 60% of their work hours in meetings. It's possible to keep meetings short by setting time restrictions and appointing moderators to uphold them. How can this be achieved? Google's approach is quite efficient. They project a countdown timer on their conference room walls that ticks away the remaining meeting time. In the context of presentations, it can be beneficial to kick off with the question, why? Starting with this establishes the issue at hand right away and allows for the most pressing questions to be addressed first. So don't save the best for the end. Captivate your audience right from the start. Social media isn't exempt from the power of brevity either. Remember, posts that have around 80 characters are the most effective, and visuals are 5 times more impactful than just text. However, brevity's realm isn't confined to professional settings. It plays a pivotal role in casual small talk too. It's easy to switch on the autopilot mode in relaxed contexts and say the first thing that comes to mind. But oversharing can result in a loss of respect, or even mar your reputation. A brief communication of good news emphasizes the success and sparks curiosity. For example, merely stating to your boss that your project is under budget leaves a stronger impression than going into the minutiae of every expense. Similarly, sharing bad news quickly minimizes the discomfort associated with it. Being succinct involves sharing only the most relevant details and avoiding unfavorable comments. Remember, when you're upset about something or frustrated with someone, sometimes it's better to remain silent. In all walks of life, brevity equals politeness. Practice it, and you'll cultivate respect. Final summary. In a world rife with distractions, the key to impactful communication lies in brevity. By recognizing the subconscious factors that prolong our explanations, mastering tactics for structuring presentations, and honing the craft of storytelling, you can give your communication skills a significant boost, infusing them with purpose and meaning. Thank you for joining me today on this journey of learning and discovery as we explored the insights of another thought-provoking book in our growing library of knowledge. If you've enjoyed our time together, please take a moment to follow our podcast, give us a 5-star rating, and share 20-minute books with other knowledge seekers. Your support truly means a lot. Don't forget to join me again in the next episode, where we will delve into another enriching book. Until then, happy reading and happy listening.